Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here because we are tackling one of the most critical, yet honestly frequently overlooked hurdles in modern software development. We're looking at the core challenge of observing and evaluating RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, and LLM applications at a true enterprise scale. We're putting two heavyweights in the ring today, LangSmith and Langfuse.
Okay, let's dive into this. If you've been in the trenches lately, you know the harsh reality. Spinning up a quick prototype of an LLM app in a weekend? Yeah, that's the easy part. But moving that application from a fun sandbox experiment into a secure, reliable production environment, that is an entirely different beast. When a rogue API call spikes your cloud bill overnight and gives your CFO a literal heart attack, you can't just shrug it off. You need to know exactly what your model is doing, how much it's costing you, and exactly where it's failing. You need observability. Imagine you're an enterprise engineering manager handling sensitive data and strict uptime. You need a platform that gives you absolute X-ray vision into your AI's decision-making process.
To unpack this head-to-head battle, here is our roadmap for today. First, the AI Observability Challenge. Second, exploring the LangSmith ecosystem. Third, Langfuse, the open-source challenger. Fourth, a feature-by-feature matchup. And finally, number 5, the enterprise architect's verdict.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the AI Observability Challenge.
Moving right along to Section 2, exploring the LangSmith ecosystem.
So, LangSmith. Its underlying philosophy is really all about deep ecosystem integration. If you know the LangChain framework, well, LangSmith is its purpose-built observability layer. And honestly, the capabilities here are incredibly deep. We are talking granular tracing and debugging where you can see exactly which node in your chain failed. It has built-in evaluation workflows that are frankly best in class, along with super robust prompt versioning and dataset management. Because it's so tightly woven into LangChain and LangGraph, the developer experience is exceptionally streamlined. Everything just works right out of the box with zero friction. It's a beautiful, highly polished machine.
But you knew there was a but coming. There is a crucial caveat here. LangSmith is primarily a managed SaaS offering. That means it lives in the cloud, and currently its self-hosting options are pretty limited. Why does this detail matter to an enterprise architect? Well, if you work in finance, healthcare, or literally any highly regulated industry, sending your data, especially potentially sensitive user prompts, over to a third-party managed cloud can be a massive compliance roadblock.
So to summarize our first contender, LangSmith is a top-tier, incredibly powerful choice, provided you fit its ideal profile. It is perfectly suited for teams who are already deeply invested in the LangChain or LangGraph ecosystem. If you are living and breathing LangChain and you just want a frictionless, beautifully integrated development workflow without worrying too much about infrastructure rules, LangSmith is going to make you very, very happy.
Let's move to Section 3 and see how this builds. Enter Langfuse, the open-source challenger.
If LangSmith is beautifully optimized but ecosystem locked to LangChain, Langfuse plants its flag in being fiercely framework agnostic and fully open source. It's the classic software engineering trade-off, right? Do you want the perfectly tailored, seamless locked ecosystem, or do you want the ultimate flexibility of an open one?
Let's actually walk through what that flexibility looks like. Because it is framework agnostic, Langfuse plays nice with almost everything. Whether you're using Spring AI, Llama Index, Semantic Kernel, or even some completely custom framework you built in-house, Langfuse can hook right into it. It also brings some heavily enterprise-focused features right out of the box. You've got direct user feedback collection, vital cost and latency monitoring to keep those API bills in check, and it's incredibly easy to weave into your existing enterprise systems. Now, what's really interesting about this is the deployment model. Unlike our previous contender, Langfuse actually gives you the option to use their managed cloud, or you can completely self-host it. You get total deployment control. If your InfoSec team says absolutely no data leaves our servers, you can just spin up Langfuse securely inside your own perimeter. That is music to an enterprise architect's ears.
Rounding out our introduction to the challenger, the ideal user profile for Langfuse is super distinct. It's best suited for organizations that prioritize flexibility above all else. If you have multiple teams using different AI frameworks, or if you require strict, uncompromising control over exactly where your software is deployed and where your data lives, Langfuse is pretty much tailor-made for your organization.
All right, Section 4, the feature-by-feature matchup.
Looking directly at the functional data, notice where they tie up. Both platforms are fantastic at prompt management and LLM tracing. If that's all you need, it's a total toss-up. but look at where they diverge on core architectural needs. When it comes to being framework agnostic, open source, and offering robust self-hosting capabilities, LangFuse takes the clear win. And notably for you Java Enterprise folks out there, LangFuse is vastly more friendly to Spring AI integrations than LangSmith's more limited capabilities in that arena.
So the crucial point here is understanding the trade-offs. It's not a clean sweep for either side. When it comes to raw evaluation workflows, testing datasets, running automated graders, the ratings show LangSmith is a 5-star heavyweight champion. It is incredibly refined. LangFuse is great, earning 4 stars, but it's just not quite at LangSmith's level there. However, flip to enterprise flexibility, and the tables completely turn. LangSmith drops to 3 stars due to that ecosystem lock-in, while LangFuse dominates with a full 5-star rating for letting you build how you want, where you want. And this brilliantly illustrates everything we have unpacked so far. This battle card, created by engineering manager and senior technical architect Sudhir Verma, really synthesizes the entire matchup. You have LangSmith, perfectly optimized for the LangChain loyalist, versus LangFuse, optimized for the flexible, framework-agnostic enterprise. It is just a fantastic visual summary of these two very diverging paths to AI observability.
Which brings us to Section 5, the Enterprise Architect's Verdict.
So what happens when the rubber meets the road for an architect dealing primarily with enterprise Java and Spring AI? Well, the choice leans heavily toward LangFuse. Let's break down the practical reasons why. First, there's no forced dependency on the LangChain ecosystem. Second, it offers a seamless native fit for Spring-based architectures. Third, and massively important, that full self-hosting support means drastically easier compliance in enterprise environments. You get incredibly strong observability, but with a much lower operational and bureaucratic overhead.
The final verdict from our source material couldn't be any clearer. Quote, "For enterprise AI platforms where framework independence, security, and deployment flexibility are critical, LangFuse is hard to beat. It ultimately just comes down to what your specific enterprise prioritizes." And I think this leads us to the biggest overarching lesson of today's explainer. The AI tooling ecosystem is evolving at lightning speed right now. Your goal isn't just to pick the platform with the shiniest features today. Your real mission is to choose a solution that fits your architecture right now, but has the flexibility to evolve with whatever new frameworks or crazy deployment needs you might have tomorrow. So I want to turn this over to you. Take a hard look at your own tech stack architecture. What observability stack are you using for your AI applications right now? Are you all in on LangSmith, enjoying the freedom of LangFuse, or maybe you're using something completely different like Arise, Phoenix, or OpenLid? Analyze your architecture, weigh the trade-offs we discussed, and go build something incredible. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.